On this 2015 to 2025 F150 with the 3.5 EcoBoost, P0420 means the PCM may be seeing bank 1 catalyst efficiency below the acceptable threshold. In plain shop terms, the catalyst may not be storing oxygen the way a healthy catalyst should. The truck may have a check engine light with no major drivability complaint, or it can show symptoms if there is an upstream engine, fuel, oxygen sensor, wiring, exhaust leak, or exhaust restriction issue involved. Before blaming the converter, work the path in order and prove the supporting systems are not pushing the catalyst monitor in the wrong direction. One side note: a slight sulfur smell can be normal. A new vehicle or new catalyst with less than 8,000-16,000 kilometers, 5,000-10,000 miles, may have that smell because the catalyst is still highly active, and installing a new catalyst may actually make that symptom worse. Start with the basic system checks, key on, and confirm the catalyst efficiency code is actually present. For this episode, we are focused on P0420, Bank 1. If that code is present, continue into the pinpoint path. If the truck only has exhaust symptoms and no catalyst efficiency code, that is a different branch for restriction symptoms, not the main P0420 path. Next, look for any codes other than the catalyst efficiency family. If other codes are present, check what they mean first, clear the PCM codes, and repeat the self-test before continuing. That matters because internal catalyst deterioration is usually caused by abnormal engine operation upstream of the catalyst. Misfire-type heat events are especially suspect. Also ask about high oil consumption, because heavy oil consumption can load the catalyst with phosphorus and reduce catalyst efficiency. If P0420 is the code you are left with, inspect the electronic engine control harness. Check the HO2's connectors for crossed wiring, then look for exposed wiring, corrosion, and correct routing. Also inspect the PCM connectors for damaged pins, pushed-out pins, corrosion, or loose wires. Make sure each rear oxygen sensor is plugged into the correct connector. Crossed rear HO2's connectors can make the catalyst monitor fail. If you find a wiring or PCM connection concern, repair it as necessary, clear the PCM codes, and run the catalyst monitor drive cycle to verify the repair. If the wiring checks clean, move on to fuel pressure. Now check fuel pressure. Use caution here. The fuel system remains pressurized even when the engine is not running, so treat the fuel system like it is under pressure and avoid creating a fire or injury hazard. With ignition on for the mechanical returnless fuel system, turn the ignition off. Relieve fuel pressure, connect a mechanical fuel pressure gauge, turn ignition on, pressurize the system, and cycle the ignition several times to charge it. Compare the gauge reading to the fuel system specification for this vehicle. Fuel pressure above specification can create an abnormally rich mixture, and that can overheat the catalyst. If fuel pressure is within specification on this 3.5 EcoBoost, check for a biased FRP sensor. With ignition off, disconnect the fuel injection pump connector, start the engine, command the fuel mass die PID to the maximum value, and monitor FRP. If FRP reads between 345-827 kPa, 50-120 psi, continue to the exhaust leak check. If it does not, install a new fuel rail pressure sensor, clear the PCM codes, and repeat the self-test. Also keep in mind that not every PID is available on every vehicle. There is another fuel rail pressure bias check used in this path. With the ignition off, disconnect the fuel injection pump connector, start the engine, then monitor both the FRP PID and the FLP PID. The decision point is whether the FRP PID value is within 138 kPa 20 psi of the FLP value. If it is within that range, continue to the exhaust leak check. If it is not, install a new fuel rail pressure sensor. Clear the PCM codes and repeat the self-test. If your scan tool or vehicle setup does not make the path clear, pause, recheck the earlier diagnostic path, and avoid guessing. After fuel pressure and FRP checkout, pressure check the exhaust system for leaks. Do not overpressurize it. Pressure above 241 kPa 35 psi can damage system components. Regulate shop air to 4 kPa 5 psi before connecting to the system at the exhaust pipe outlet. Use a soap and water solution and check the exhaust flanges and gaskets, the upstream oxygen sensor area and mounting surface, the exhaust between the upstream and rear oxygen sensors, the downstream oxygen sensor and mounting surface, and the exhaust within 25 cm 6 inches of that downstream sensor area. Also check the exhaust flange bolts for correct torque and check the downstream HO2s for correct torque. If you find a leak or torque concern, repair it as necessary, clear the PCM codes, and run the catalyst monitor drive cycle to verify the repair. If the exhaust checks clean, move to final monitor verification. If the vehicle is being worked for exhaust symptoms without the catalyst efficiency code, shift to the restriction branch. Inspect the front and rear exhaust pipes, catalytic converter, muffler, and tailpipe assembly for damage or restriction. A little exhaust pressure is normal, but excessive back pressure can seriously affect engine operation. If you find a restriction concern, repair it as necessary, clear the PCM codes, and repeat the self-test. If the visual inspection is clean, decide whether an exhaust back pressure tester is available. With an exhaust back pressure tester available, install it and follow the tool maker's setup and test process. A useful checkpoint is that typical exhaust back pressure, measured near the exhaust manifold at normal engine operating temperature, should not exceed 27 kPa 3 psi at idle and 2 kPa 8 psi at wide open throttle under load. If the test indicates a restriction, repair it as necessary, clear the PCM codes, and repeat the self-test. If it does not indicate a restriction, no exhaust restriction or leak has been detected by that check, so continue diagnosis based on the symptom you are chasing. If you do not have an exhaust back pressure tester, attach a vacuum gauge to an intake manifold vacuum source and watch the gauge while increasing engine RPM. When the engine is first started and idled, the reading may be normal at 51-74 kPa, 15-22 nhg. As RPM comes up, back pressure from a clogged exhaust can make the needle slowly drop to 0 kPa, 0 nhg. An excessive restriction can pull the needle low even at idle. If the gauge indicates an exhaust restriction concern, repair it as necessary, clear the PCM codes, and repeat the self-test. If it does not, no restriction or leak has been detected by that check, so continue based on the symptom. Keep verification separate from the testing you just completed. Carry out the catalyst monitor drive cycle, then run the PCM self-test again. If P0420 is still present after the wiring, fuel pressure, FRP, and exhaust leak checks have passed, the directed repair for P0420 is to install all new catalytic converters on bank 1, clear the PCM codes, and repeat the self-test. If P0420 does not return, the test is complete and no concerns are present. The takeaway is simple. P0420 is a catalyst efficiency result, but the diagnostic path makes you prove the upstream controls and the exhaust sealing first. Do the checks in order, verify the monitor, and only then make the bank 1 catalyst call. For more diagnostic training, visit stepdiagnostics.com.